Hi. Good evening, all. Come back with me again with Adi Suastawan and a casual talk of your literature word. For those of you who are listening for the first time, welcome to this podcast. Casual Talk of Your Literature World is a podcast where everything about literature, starting from its development and its contribution to the world of language education, will be discussed in detail. And in this episode, we will discuss the role of poetry in increasing students' vocabulary in EFL class. So, are you ready? Alright, without beating time again, let's get started. Well, along with the times and the swift flow of globalizations, the paradigm of the world of education continues to experience significant development, especially in the 21st century in the era of Disruption 4.0. Etymologically, 21st century learning is a learning model with a student-centered approach based on four C skills that consisting of critical thinking, creativity, collaborations, and communications. Of course, this learning model is expected to be able to create a competent generation that is ready to compete in the global market. From this statement, the patterns of language learning, especially learning as a language, foreign language, must also be able to adopt a comprehensive 21st century learning systematics supported by a complete facilities and infrastructure, as well as superior human resources in order to create innovative and attractive learning methods. So, foreign languages nowadays, the aspect of teaching vocabulary is still underestimated by a number of academicians. They tend to underestimate this important aspect because it is considered only worth the time. Moreover, the reality on the ground shows that the students in foreign language classes tend to feel bored with a monotonous vocabulary learning method because some teachers prefer to continue to apply the old methods that's already called as handbook-based learnings without any qualified innovation. Whereas, according to Hammer 2009, when a student's success in mastering various vocabulary in a foreign language in learning, they will be able to easily understand the various competencies that exist in foreign language learning. Based on Hammer assumptions, of course, we realize that the vocabulary aspect can't be taken slightly, so that an effective learning method is needed in order to answer these problematic questions. Various techniques have emerged from a number of academics to lead to controversy. Some of them think that teaching text-based literature is to be inappropriate due to a number of factors. Therefore, there was an innovation in teaching vocabulary in foreign language learning based on literary works in the form of poetry, while still prioritizing aspects of age, needs, and level of educations. All right. Well, the effectiveness of teaching foreign language vocabulary based on poetry has been proven by the research that conducted on 48 junior high school students in the regions of Turkey, which they were given five different poems containing the same vocabulary to then conduct a study related to their development. Through pre-test and post-test activities, based on the analysis carried out, there is a significant differences in achievement between the initial test or pre-test scores and the final test scores of the research subject. Thus, it can be concluded that this learning pattern is effective in increasing the vocabulary of students in foreign language classes. This is further strengthened by the results of research that conducted by Cardioglu at 2005, This research showed that this method is effective in enriching the vocabulary of students in foreign language classes as well as significantly improving their communication skills. These results is further strengthened by the statement made by UR 1999 in his work in the form of book entitled A Course of Language Teaching, Practice and Theory. In this book explained that there are so many vital indicators in literary works, especially poetry, that is useful in the fields of teaching foreign languages such as literature is the foundations in order to increase vocabulary, stimulate effective attitudes and creativity, and encourage emotional intelligence, cognitive and motivations. So poetry provides a very wide space in the effort to master foreign language vocabulary because poetry actually contains experiences, backgrounds, goals, and certain messages which are sometimes implied, so that it will spur the mind to visualize the interpretations of the meaning of the existing vocabulary. Alright, so based on the explanations above, we can conclude that poetry has a big role in enriching the vocabulary of students in the EFL class. So, it's time for me, Adi Suastawan, to say goodbye and see you in the next episode of Casual Talk of Your Literary Words. Have a pleasant day, stay healthy, stay safe, and goodbye.